What is going on, you guys? And welcome back to your channel. A couple things before we dive into today's video. Number one, I have officially started a second channel, so if you guys want to check the description down below, head on over and drop a sub. I would greatly appreciate it. That channel is going to be for short form content only, so typically videos under 2 minutes. It's going to be a lot of clips from streams, just like really short talking points instead of, you know, having like 20 or 15 to 20 minute videos like you will on the main channel here. That one again is just going to be very easily digestible stuff. So if you guys are interested in stuff like that, go drop a sub. I think we're going to get it off the ground here very shortly, so much appreciated if you guys showed some love. Now, the topic for today's video is Roster Mania. If you guys remember over the Cold War offseason when I didn't get to go to champs, I started dabbling a little bit into the Roster Mania rumors, the offseason. You kind of got into the full swing of enjoying, well, definitely not enjoying, but enjoying Roster Mania just a tad bit. This is the first year in a very long time that I actually don't have to participate in Roster Mania, so we're going to take advantage. I think I'm going to be covering a lot of the news and stuff that ends up dropping from anything movers and shakers in the CDL, and we're just gonna, as it goes, the videos will come. So we're going to be covering the early Roster Mania news in this video, and then, as I said, once more news starts to drop, once rosters start changing, more videos will come. All right, so starting off, number one, we're gonna have the Boston Breach. They have officially dropped TJ from their roster, and I want to talk about Boston just a little bit because I think that from what I've heard and talking to Zinni and a couple other guys on the team, they're showing at champs. Unfortunately, it was against us, but they said their showing at champs wasn't really where the bar was for them in terms of scrim results and like how they felt as a team. Really, I think Zinni said they underperformed in things on stream the other day. Which is unfortunate because I was a pretty decent fan of their roster. I thought their roster was very well put together. I think Reese is a phenomenal player with Vivid, as you guys know. I think him and Nero worked super well together. Reese is he's got like his reputation is kind of molded and shifted a little bit this year. When he was on Florida, and then when he got dropped, they were calling it the worst roster move in the CDL, and then he went to Boston and they underperformed, and then they were like, oh, maybe Florida was right with his pacing and this, because he always has 1 million engagements with 1 million damage. I think the narrative started to shift a little bit that he was just too fast and may have been a little detrimental to the team. I, for one, big Reese Vivid fan. I think that guy's incredible. And I think he works super well off of Nero. So they had to make a change. They didn't, perform super well at champs or the second half of this season, but I'm happy they kept Reese at Nero. I think that's a great building block. As for Zinni, I think he definitely was a upper echelon AR for the beginning part of the year. And I think even he will tell you that he started to taper off a little bit towards the second half. But I think obviously he has what it takes to compete at a high level with other AR players. I was dog shit at the beginning and I flipped it around, so I think it was kind of the reverse methods, if you will. So in the market for a flex right now, and I think that going based on the rumors, there's been a lot of rumors about potential flex players. I think the one that everyone is starting to gravitate towards is Cammy. The Ultra owner is actually tweeting about roster meetings and like things are going to shake up and then you're not going to have the same roster for next season. Ben's tweeting that he's gone. Like, staying on Boston but talking about Toronto just for a second, I think that Toronto is going to be one of the major catalysts this offseason. Toronto's been together for like what seems like 3 years. I think it actually has been 3 years, other than Jamie, of course. So I think that if they end up making moves, a lot of teams are going to end up making moves because they're very talented. So you're going to want to make roster moves to accommodate potential free agency from Toronto. So if Cam actually does go to Boston, I don't hate that team. I think you have a really good sub duo to build off of. I think that they match each other's pace super well, and I think you guys saw glimpses of it towards Major 4 and champs, that the way that Nero and Vivid could work the map together, it just felt very good in my opinion. When you have a good sub duo to build off of, it makes everything else just way easier. Which I had a good sub duo, but my sub wasn't running a sub. Long story short, big Boston fan here. I thought that their roster was very good. Unfortunately, they did underperform the second half of the season, but I thought those guys were a really good dark horse going to most events. Almost beat us. They played us closer than anyone else did at champs or Major 4. So hats off to those guys. Some other news: LAG dropped Bevels, their coach of 3 years. I think he's been coaching them since the beginning of Modern Warfare in the CDL era. I think it's good that management is starting to take accountability a little bit. I think that is something that fans and people in the scene have like really wanted. People were coming for Cap's head. I don't need to elaborate on that at all. I think Cap and Eric you guys wanted him fired. You guys wanted him to never be seen in COD again. I don't need to get into it. So I think it's good because the fan reception is that they want organizations to hold management a little bit more accountable for the results of the teams. Similarly, like if you fire a head coach in the NFL after a shit season, things like that. So I think it's a good thing from LAG to be able to take the initiative because they did win an event this year. I think that is a phenomenal thing to build off of. If you win, your winning solves everything. So they ended up getting a win this season. You do have, as of now, the same roster. They have made no moves. They just came together super late into the season, so it's very hard to catch fire at the right time when you're making changes like that. Not sure who they're going to go for as a head coach. I know they do still have Ricky, so they might just keep Rick and then find an assistant. I'm not sure of the situation there, but again, from the public perspective and the fan perspective of things, it seems like you guys really enjoy when, well, not enjoy. That's a little might be a sadist for that. You guys seem to want management to be held accountable. So unfortunately, Bev is out of a job, but we're gonna see where LAG goes with their management. And now the last bit of confirmed news. I could go into all of the like, oh, Scrap's probably gonna take a spot on Toronto. We don't know. Like, I could get into all that. I want to try to stick to the stuff that actually has been confirmed, and that is Optic is sticking with their roster moving into the 2023 season. On the Optic podcast, Hector did mention that they're all going to stay together. I know a lot of fans were concerned with Ender's thumb. Now that you have the offseason to actually let it heal, there's no pressure from the green wall in order to perform right now. I think it's good downtime for him to be able to heal. I think, obviously, I don't need to go too in-depth with Optic. You guys know they had their ups and downs throughout the season. Everyone's saying, what if after Major 1, Ender didn't get hurt? What kind of momentum could they have had? Could they have potentially won more events? Like I said, you guys know all the narratives. I don't need to get super into it, but it's cool to see Hector confirming that they're going to stay together. There was some potential with Seth retiring. I think that was something that a lot of people had in the back of their heads. He's been hinting at it for 18 years now. So it's good to see him commit to another year. I think if he retired with the roster that he has right now, I don't want to speak for him, but I think I would have regretted it in that situation. You have a superstar roster with Shotzzy, Ender, and Dashy. I think retiring in this spot right now could definitely lead to a what if situation. So I'm happy for him. I looked up to him as a kid. I was telling him that after we won champs on Sunday, we were chopping up at the bar, and I was just telling him like I didn't want him to retire. I didn't know where his head was at with all of that. He's been playing for 15 fucking years. So I'm happy to see him keep going. I did start as a fan, as it hurts to say. I'm much like you guys are now. I just happen to be lucky enough to actually be able to compete. So it's cool to see. Optic is sticking together. I think that if they get a full season under their belt and see where things go with a fully healthy roster, then they could have potentially won multiple events. So cool to see that. We'll have some great storylines. I'm sure Zach will stir some shit up next year somehow. We'll call him some overrated in another video, and we'll run it back. So appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I think I'm going to release videos as time goes on with roster moves and stuff like that. I don't want to cover rumors. I think I'm going to stick strictly to actual news and stuff like that, unless the rumor is just fucking juicy, dude. Like the merger last year, for example, with Optic and Envy. So again, appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you go sub to the second channel. I'm going to be putting that in the description below, and I think again we're going to start getting that channel off the ground here very shortly. So if you guys are interested in a lot more short form content, make sure you stop by there. And even if you're not, just go throw a sub. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for watching. As always, have a good rest of your day.